Welcome to Safe Money Retirement Radio with your host, Tim Wood. Tim is a certified financial fiduciary and a no-market risk retirement and income specialist, and the owner of SafeMoneyRetirement.com, primarily serving Western North Carolina, East Tennessee, and Southwest Virginia. But he's sought after nationally for his expertise in helping people secure their retirements. Mr. Wood is a licensed life insurance professional in multiple states and specializes in working with people who are near retirement and those who have already retired with wealth management, income planning, and asset protection strategies. And now, here to talk with you about no market risk retirement planning, your host, Tim Wood.
Welcome to Safe Money Retirement Radio. I'm Tim Wood, an asset and retirement protection specialist. After almost 2 years of writing and editing, I released my book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, back in 2022. And today, I'm thrilled to have journalist and podcast pioneer Doug Sandler with Turnkey Podcast Productions with me one more time to discuss the last chapter of my book. So welcome to Safe Money Retirement Radio one last time, Doug.
Hey, thanks, Tim. Thanks for being here. And this is my favorite chapter, not because it shares any more amazing content like you've shared in the other 8 chapters, but it's all the stories. It's actually putting people in real life to place. I'm always excited to share great stories of authors and their books, and especially with you, Tim. I've really enjoyed getting to know you over the last 8.5 or 9 chapters. Now we're heading into the final chapter. It's a great book for those in our listening audience. You've heard the other chapters. I encourage you in a fast way to get a copy of Tim's book while supplies last. I suggest to all of our listeners, read it. And if you're close to retirement or plan on being there one day, now is the time for you to check it out. We're going to dive into this last chapter, chapter 9, real people, real safe money retirement game plans. You ready to do it, Tim? Should we get into the content?
Let's go.
All right. So right at the beginning of the chapter, so I pulled out a handful of stories that I thought were really good and very relatable to me and hopefully to the listening audience as well. You share a story about Betty and filling the gap. I wonder if you could share that story with our audience.
Absolutely. So Betty, age 67, is retiring this year from her long career as a bookkeeper for a local business. Because she's reached full retirement age, she'll be receiving her full Social Security benefits. She's also got $87,000 in a 401k account. Betty's goals are simple. She doesn't want to go on cruises. She doesn't want to travel the world. Her children and grandchildren live nearby. Betty wants to make sure that between her Social Security and her retirement account, all her needs will be met and that she won't run out of money before she runs out of life. During our Fact Finder appointment, I did a thorough analysis of Betty's current financial plan and even did an income plan out to age 100. And we found an income gap. And that's the difference between the income she has from Social Security and the income she'll need. My job was to help her fill that gap to make sure she had a guaranteed monthly income she couldn't outlive. We found exactly the right answer with a fixed immediate annuity offered by a top-rated insurance company. Now remember, I only work with the best of the best that filled the gap. And then some, actually. By using her 401k to purchase this annuity with a lump sum payment, Betty now has 2 sources of income, including her Social Security, that are guaranteed month in and month out for the rest of her life, income that exceeds her cost of living. And then I end it by saying Betty's happy because her retirement is now secure, and I'm happy because Betty's happy.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It was a great story, and I appreciate you sharing that. By the way, I was going to tell our listening audience also, I forgot to do that right before, just so he can explain exactly why the story was so impactful. I was going to ask Tim to go ahead and read it. So he is reading the story. He can't recall all of those details just off the top of his head. Yeah. But I do have a question or two that I want to ask about Betty, because oftentimes I realize, or I think about, you can't put a square peg in a round hole. So there's got to be a finite amount of these products out there, but can you always find the right product to fit with the right need? Is there ever a time when you can't find the right product for someone that's looking for it through annuities?
There is, absolutely. Yeah, annuities are not a one-size-fits-all. No, you're absolutely right. Yeah, it happens actually more often than you would think that I meet people and I tell them, I'm sorry, I am not the best fit for you. You need to do this or you need to do that. That's the thing about being independent is I can show you all of your options. Mm-hmm. And if it's something that my company can't help with, I have people I can refer you to that can help you do it.
Got it.
So yeah, absolutely. In some cases, annuity isn't the right fit, but for anybody that needs to fill an income gap like Betty did, absolutely, there's nothing better than a guaranteed income annuity because it's going to pay her the rest of her life, no matter how long she lives. If there's any money left in the account when she's gone, it can go to beneficiaries. If she outlives the money, great. She beat the bank and they're going to keep paying her as long as she's still breathing.
Right, right. And the beauty of this, again, just keep thinking about this. If you're in a listening community, it was the combination of Social Security income plus the income that the annuity was going to create that was actually creating that income for Betty. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. Great. I love that story. And I want to get on to the next one as well. You shared another story called A Fireproof Plan, a story about Leon and Jane. Obviously, it is not their real names. Leon and Jane are the fictitious names, as well as Betty, and filling the gap. Can you help me by reading maybe the story about Leon and Jane? I want to hear about A Fireproof Plan.
Absolutely. Leon and Jane, a couple in their mid-70s, weren't too happy with what was going on in Washington. They were referred to me by a current client and wanted to protect their life savings from, as Leon said, going up in a puff of smoke. Leon, a retired firefighter, hence that metaphor, had most of the couple's nest eggs sitting in his 457B account, which is the local government employee's version of a 401k, where it was susceptible to significant losses if the market crashed or went up in smoke, as he said. The couple was receiving their Social Security benefits and for the last few years had been taking the RMDs, those required minimum distributions that we all know about, from the 457 plan. They found, however, that those combined sources of income didn't quite amount to what they needed monthly. During our fact finder, we took a deep dive into the couple's current financial situation. We determined the best course of action for Leon and Jane was to use the 457 funds to purchase two separate fixed indexed annuity plans. One that would immediately provide the couple with a monthly paycheck they can't outlive to cover that income gap, and one that would allow the remainder of their nest egg to potentially continue to grow with no chances of losses and get a guaranteed lifetime on it they can turn on later. Both of these particular fixed income annuities offered protection against the possibly catastrophic costs of long-term care with what's known as an income multiplier. We talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, with this feature, their monthly income can double for up to 5 years if either of them ever needs long-term care. So with a safe money game plan in place that offers growth, guaranteed income, no losses, and an LTC benefit, Leon and Jane have the peace of mind that comes with knowing that no matter what, they won't burn through their savings.
Okay. And I love the analogy there from the firefighter's perspective. Just a question about that one as well. It sounds like they knew that they had Social Security coming in, but they also had a lump sum of money that they were going to then put into the annuities. Is that correct?
It is. And they didn't need, I'm not going to use exact numbers. You wouldn't know them anyway, but let's say they had $500,000 in that account, but they didn't need an income starting right now that $500,000 would buy. They only needed, say, maybe what $150,000 would buy. So that's why we did it in multiple. And that's why we come up with a purpose and come up with an individual plan for each individual person. So for them, we did a plan for that portion and got their income they had right now covered. So they knew they were covering their expenses. And then we let the other portion continue to grow. That's that's why we plan with everyone. And we can basically, that's one way that we can help overcome inflation is by having part of your money still continue to grow before you turn it on.
Plus, the other benefit, which Tim had also mentioned, was the long-term care benefit of one of those annuities as well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Having that ability to have that double, that's huge because long-term care is very expensive. As most people know, if you haven't experienced it yet, I hope you don't ever. But when you do, it's super expensive, especially if you want in-home care. That was part 1 of my interview with Doug Sandler about Chapter 9 of my book, Real People, Real Safe Money Retirement Game Plans. Stay tuned next week for the conclusion of Chapter 9. Well, I'm about out of time, and I would like to thank you for listening to Safe Money Retirement Radio. If you're serious about your financial future, give me a call, and together we'll get your retirement savings on the fast track to accumulate while reducing exposure to market risk. Thanks for listening, and until next time at the same time, I'm Tim Wood, reminding you to stay safe so you can step into a secure future.
You've been listening to Safe Money Retirement Radio with your host, Tim Wood. Find out how to guarantee that your hard-earned money is safe with locked-in returns that will never go down due to market risk, so you can have the future that you deserve. Call Tim Wood now for your free copy of his #1 best-selling book, Safe Money Retirement, Your Game Plan for Success, along with the free Safe Money Retirement Information Kit at 844-905-SAFE. That's 844-905-7233. Or visit him online for more details at safemoneyretirement.com. The preceding information does not represent tax, legal, or investment advice. Surrender charges apply to base contracts. Optional lifetime income benefit riders are used to calculate lifetime payments only and are not available for cash surrender or in a death benefit unless specified in the annuity contract. Fees may apply. Guarantees are based on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the insurance company. No information presented today should be acted upon without meeting with a qualified and licensed professional. Obviously, by calling us now, you are just taking the first step towards protecting your retirement. It's important that you read all insurance contract disclosures carefully before making a purchase decision. Rates and returns mentioned on this program are subject to change without notice.